Hello everyone, my name is Nurdamia Amira binti Muhammad Azham. My matrix number is 2024699246.
Hi guys, my name is Nofara Alia binti Ishran and my matric number is 2024429452.
Hi everyone, my name is Nur Farah Nadira binti Muhammad Rahmat and my matric number is 2024-405 and 206.
Hi, my name is Nur Amni Hazirah binti Muhammad Amin and my ID number is 2024277654.
Hi, my name is Nur Shamira and my matric number is 2024692436.
Hi, my name is Ashiti Natasha and my matric number is 2024-2953-73.
So I'm starting this presentation with the introduction of this case study. So what is this case study about? So this case study is about how Ministry of Education managed the issues of teaching maths and science in English, which was started with PPSMI. So PPSMI, also known as Pengajaran dan Pembelajaran Sains dan Matematik dalam Bahasa Inggeris. So this policy was implemented in 2003 to teach maths and science in English only in all schools, starting with primary schools to secondary schools. So the objective of this policy is to improve English proficiency among students and to prepare them for global competitiveness. This policy was introduced by Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. But this policy has caused a lot of controversial issues as the impacts on students, teachers and the education system was very severe. So this policy was phased out in 2012 and replaced by MMBI, which is Memartabatkan Bahasa Malaysia, Memperkukuhkan Bahasa Inggeris. So this policy has schools reverted to teaching Bahasa Malaysia and vernacular language instead of fully teaching maths and science in English. So MMBI was introduced to elevate Bahasa Malaysia and to strengthen the English proficiency and to address the flaws of PPSMI, which is language barrier in learning, student disengagement in STEMs, and policy instability and more.
Next, moving to the next part, which is planning. There are short-term planning and long-term planning that Ministry of Education have been done. For short-term planning, the first one is teacher training. So Ministry of Education provide quick course and workshop to improve teachers' English and teaching skills. Next, new resource. Ministry of Education create and distribute English textbooks and teaching materials like CDs and videos. The last one is bilingual teaching. So Ministry of Education allow teachers to use both English and Bahasa Malaysia at the beginning to help students to easy adapt for long-term planning. The first one is continuous teacher training. So MOE or Ministry of Education provide ongoing training to improve teachers' English and teaching methods. This is just the same as the short-term planning. However, this is for long period of time. Next, monitoring and adjustments. So, Ministry of Education regularly assess students and teachers' progress and make changes to the policy if needed. And the last one is improving rural education. So, Ministry of Education provide extra support and resources for rural schools or the schools in Sabah and Sarawak to reduce the gap or the difference with urban schools. Moving to the parties that were involved in planning PPSMI and MMBI. So there are many parties that are involved. Some of them are Ministry of Education, teachers, co-curriculum developer, and also teacher training institutes. Okay, the first one, Ministry of Education. This is the main group that responsible for creating and managing the policy. Next, teachers. Teachers help by giving feedback and attend training to prepare for teaching mathematics and science in English. The third one is co-curriculum developers. They create the syllabus of textbook for mathematics and science in English. And the last one is Teacher Training Institute. They train teachers to improve their English and teaching skills.
Now, I will take you through the time frame for each of the strategy, highlighting when this action will take place. Let's begin with the short-term plans, which are designed to address immediate challenges and lay the foundation for the success of the policy. Teacher training. Teacher training program are set to roll out within the first 1 to 2 years. This course and workshop will focus on quickly enhancing teacher English proficiency and teaching techniques, enable them to confidently teach in English. New resources. During the same period, the MOE will work to develop and distribute essential resources like English textbooks, educational CD, and videos. This resource will be made available within the 1 to 2 years to ensure that teachers and students have the tools they need to succeed. Bilingual teaching. The bilingual teaching approach will be implemented in the first 1 to 3 years, allowing teachers to use both English and Bahasa Melayu. This approach will provide a gradual transition for students, helping them to adapt to the new language of instruction. Now, let's look at the long-term plans, which are aimed at ensuring sustainability and continuous improvement. Continuous teacher training. Teacher training will continue as an ongoing effort over 3 to 5 plus years. The goal is to provide long-term professional development, ensuring teachers stay updated with the new teaching method and maintain strong English proficiency. Monitoring and adjustment. Over the next 3 to 5 plus years, the MOE will continuously monitor the progress of students and teachers. Regular assessment will inform any necessary adjustment to the policy, ensuring it remains effective and relevant. Improving rural education. Improving education in rural school will be a focus for the next 3 to 5 plus years. The ministry will work to reduce the gap between rural and urban school by providing additional resource and targeted support. Now, I will go over the objective for the Ministry of Education short-term and long-term plans to manage the issue of teaching mathematics and science in English. First, for teacher training, the objective is to improve teacher English proficiency and enhance their teaching skill for mathematics and science. This will help teachers confidently deliver lessons in English. Second, for new resources, the objective is to provide high-quality teaching materials that support the transition to English medium instruction, such as textbooks, CDs, and videos. These resources are crucial for helping both teachers and students. Third, for bilingual teaching, the goal is to help students adjust to learning in English by allowing teachers to use both English and Bahasa Melayu in the classroom. This gradual transition will ease students into the new learning environment. Moving to long-term plans, continuous teacher training ensures that teachers continue to develop their English proficiency and teaching effectiveness. This ongoing training will keep teachers updated with the best practice in education. Monitoring and adjustment is another key objective. The MOE will regularly assess the policy effectiveness and make necessary adjustments to improve its impact, ensuring it stays relevant to the needs of both students and teachers. Lastly, for improving rural education, the goal is to bridge the education gap between rural and urban schools. The MOE will provide extra resources and support to the rural schools to help them meet the same educational standards as urban schools.
So we are entering the organizing segment. So there are a few concepts of organizing, such as work specialization, departmentalization, span of control, and chain of command. So, but for this case study, we are going to focus on work specialization concept and departmentalization concept. So, what is organizing? So, organizing is the way a work is arranged and allocated amongst members of organization, which here is MOE, with the goals of achieving the organizational goals effectively. So now we're talking about work specialization. So what is work specialization? So work specialization is defined as dividing work activities into separate jobs, tasks, which also known as division of work. So in this slide, we are focusing on how the Ministry of Education manage the issues of teaching maths and science in English, which is the teacher having low English proficiency. So in this part, there are two parts, which is how the MO organized to manage the issue during the PPSMI policy and MMBI policy. So during the PPSMI policy, the MOE has come out with the ETEMS initiative, which also known as English for Teaching Maths and Science. So ETEMS, we call it ETEMS, offers support to teachers in aspects like training and development, resource support, and capacity building. While during the MMBI policy, there is no specific initiative like the PPSMI1, which is ETEMS, but the MOE has organized few strategies. So here, we are looking at the work specialization in the ETEMS during the PPSMI policy. The ETEMS has split into a few teams to focus on solving each of the issues they specialize on, which what work specialization is. So here, we provide 4 different teams, which is curriculum design team, training and development team, implementation team, and monitoring and feedback team. So first, curriculum design team are in charge of developing training modules for teachers, which to manage the lack of appropriate training modules for teachers, which the solution is they design modules with balance focused on language skills and methodologies instead of just focusing on the language itself. So next is the trainer development team. So trainer development team are in charge of training trainers to train teachers nationwide. Basically, training a master trainer to teach other teachers in other states and districts. So the problem that trainer development team have to solve is the uneven distribution of skilled trainers, which then they train the trainer TOT programs to prepare district and state trainers to deliver ETMS program effectively. So the next one is the implementation team, which they are in charge of delivering training programs, holding workshop for teachers, and so on. So the issues that implementation team has to face is uneven implementation due to logistical challenges in rural school, which is the rural schools, the teachers have lack of training and having hard time to teach maths and science in English. So to solve that issue, the implementation team prioritize resource allocation to schools in rural areas, not just urban areas, and they provide digital tools and bilingual teaching aids. And lastly is the monitoring and feedback team, which they have to evaluate the effectiveness of the ETMS training. Which the problem they have to solve is inconsistent application of training outcomes, which then they conducted a pre and post training so that they can measure the teachers' improvement in their proficiency. And last, we are looking at the work specialization during the MBI policy. So there are multiple specialization in the MBI policy, but I am going to explain these three of the specialization that the MOE organized to manage the issues regarding teaching maths and science in English, but we are focusing on the teachers' English proficiency. So first one is the specialization for the the teacher training and professional development, which is done by BPG, Bahagian Pendidikan Guru. They offers in-service training, which is the teacher who are currently teaching in school, they receive workshops from the BPP and resources and to improve their teaching skills, which as a result has increased the teachers' confidence in teaching maths and science in English. So the second one, which is language support programs, which is done by English Language Teaching Center, ELTC, which ELTC help programs that focus on language skills that was required to effectively teach maths and science, basically the vocabulary, the terms and so on, so that the teacher could understand better and teach the students better, which as a result enhance the language proficiency of the teachers. So the third one, which is the monitoring and assessment, which is done by the Lembaga Peperiksaan. So the Lembaga Peperiksaan, they held a language proficiency assessment to ensure that the teachers are ready to teach maths and science in English, or maybe the LP, the Lembaga Peperiksaan, did the assessment to ensure that the teacher is always consistent in teaching maths and science in English, which as a result improve in monitoring and feedback on teachers' performance in bilingual instruction, which this commonly applied in schools that use DLP programs, which dual language program, which either teach maths and science in Malay or English or both, which is bilingual instruction. So that's it for work specialization.
So today we're going to discuss about departmentation. What is departmentation? Departmentation is a grouping activity into logical units for better coordination and execution. For example, the Ministry of Education have divided works between PPD in states and area to make sure all of the tasks and objectives can be contained. Other than PPD, school administration and school teachers are also participate in departmentation. This is in order to make sure all of the objectives can be contained. For example, DLP, Dual Language Program. The Ministry of Education has given responsibility to PPD in each state to make sure all of the needs and search to make sure all of the schools participating in this dual language program are fully qualified and have enough resources to launch this program. By departmentation, all of these qualities can be qualified to its finest. The next one is PPSMI. All of schools participating in this program need to have enough teachers that can provide education of science and math in English. It is PPD responsibility to report to the Ministry of Education any type of problem such as lack of human resource to teach. By departmentation, there will be no excuse that this kind of problem will be not solved. MBI. In order to maintain our national identity, the Ministry of Education need to teach and make sure all of the students have good English communicating skills while also having an excellent Malay language mastery. While we are busy teaching the kids science and math in English, we also need to make sure that their Malay mastery are excellent. This is to make sure that our national identity wouldn't be forgotten. In order to accomplish this, the Ministry of Education need to divide the task between PPD to make sure that this program could be handled smoothly and having no problem.
This is the decision making of how Ministry of Education manage issue of teaching math and science in English. First, TPM approach in implementing the PPSMI reflect a top-down decision-making strategy, where decisions are made at the ministry level without significant input from grassroots level. The Ministry released on expert opinion, international benchmark, and internal evaluation to justify the introduction of the program. Limited engagement with teachers, parents, and students lead to challenge in the implementation of the program. The decision-making process begins with identifying the problem, which is the deterioration of Malaysian student English proficiency, which will negatively impact their ability to compete in the global market. More set clear objectives to improve English language skill and ensure students are equipped for the demand of science and technology-driven industry.
Decision making number 6. The Ministry ran a pilot program before the full implementation of PPSMI to assess its feasibility in selected schools. Number 7. Despite this effort, MOE faced criticism from a lack of widespread stakeholder engagement, especially from rural educators and communities struggling with limited resources. Number 8. PPSMI is seen as a critical step towards producing globally competitive graduates with strong English language proficiency and technical knowledge. Number 9. In 2012, Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia KPM replaced PPSMI with the MBI policy, which aims to increase the use of both Bahasa Malaysia and English in education. Number 10. Under the MBI framework, the dual language program DLP was introduced in 2016, which gives schools the flexibility to teach mathematics and science in either English or Malay, depending on local community needs.
Next, moving to the next part, which is controlling. So based on decision making before, there are several controlling strategies that used by the Ministry of Education. The first one is compliance monitoring. So Ministry of Education, they regularly check on schools to ensure they follow the rules of teaching mathematics and science in English. Next, data collections and evaluations. So Ministry of Education, they collect test results and they compare them with other countries to see if the plan was working. This helped them know if the students were improving or maybe not. The third one is goal monitoring and adjustment. So Ministry of Education, they kept checking if the students were meeting the goals of improving English skills in mathematics and science subject. If things were working, they look for other way to fix the problems. Next, number 4, pilot testing. So before applying the plan to all schools, Ministry of Education, they test it in a few schools first to see what worked and what didn't. This helped them to make sure the plan was good before rolling it out everywhere. Number 5, feedback and responsiveness. When teachers, parents, and students give feedback about the issue with the planning of teaching mathematics and science in English, Ministry of Education, they listened and they made changes to improve it. For example, they are changing PPSMI to MBI. Number 6, long-term review and strategic changes. So Ministry of Education, they check the long-term results of the planning and make adjustment when it wasn't working. Like they replace PPSMI with MBI to improve both English and Malay use. And number 7 is flexibility and autonomy. Ministry of Education, they give schools the choice to teach either in English or Bahasa Malaysia in mathematics and science subject based on the community needs. So this allows schools more control to decide what works best for their students.
Let me share the conclusion of our discussion. The Ministry of Education, MOE, has introduced policy like PPSMI, MBI, and DLP to tackle the challenges of teaching mathematics and science in English. These efforts include teacher training, pilot testing, and flexible programs like the dual language program, which adapt to community needs. However, there are still challenges, such as limited input from stakeholders, lack of resources in rural schools, and low teacher proficiency in English. A SWOT analysis of the MOE's effort shows strength, proactive action, testing and evaluation, and flexible program. Weakness: limited stakeholder involvement and rural resource gaps. For the opportunities, more teacher training, bilingual teaching, and using technology. And the last one, traps: stakeholder resistance and changing national priorities. To improve, we suggest involving stakeholders more, supporting rural schools better, doing regular evaluation, using digital tools for training, and balancing bilingual teaching to make the transition to English smoother. In conclusion, while MOE has made good progress, ongoing improvement and inclusive planning are key to preparing students for global success. That's all from us. Thank you.